progress are we seeing in recognition of the links between biodiversity and cultural diversity?
I think we're seeing rapid progress. It's evident not just here at IUCN, but across the academic institutions, museums and conservation programs around the world, that this recognition that all of these diversities are intimately related is gathering force, and it's beginning to be applied now, I think, more and more to the actual practice of conservation.
Can you give some examples?
Well, one example here is that tomorrow IUCN will be launching their guidelines on the management of sacred places. And I think this is a very, very good example of something that's come up from a wide range of actors within IUCN, including, of course, the guardians of these sacred places in the formal religions and in indigenous communities, but being brought into a very practical focus through the task force that's come up with some guidelines that can really help protected area managements understand how they can deal with these sacred places, work respectfully with the guardians, and maintain the uniqueness and richness of these sites for the traditional guardians, but of course also for the whole planet and all of us. It's very unlikely, I think, that we will manage to maintain the biological diversity of the planet if we destroy and don't respect the cultural diversity, the traditional knowledge, the linguistic diversity. We're going to need all of these diversities to stick together if we're to maintain the richness of the world.
And you're head of the Christensen Fund. Can you give one or two examples of projects that you are funding on the ground that are preserving cultural diversity?
So the Christensen Fund is working primarily in 5 regions of the world, and in each of these regions we're working with often dozens or even hundreds of communities, and particularly the stewards in those communities who maintain the integrity of landscapes, who maintain the sacred places, for example, that we spoke about a moment ago, who maintain the diversity of traditional agricultural systems, the management of grazing lands, the maintenance of wells and streams, and the integrity of landscapes. And so we've done a lot of grant making, both directly to indigenous organizations, but also to organizations that have allied with those groups on their own terms, to get very practically involved in maintaining or restoring the integrity of these landscapes and cultures, but not with an eye to the past, with an eye to the future, because we're living in a rapidly changing and globalizing world. Climate change is one aspect of that, but we know that whether we're talking about zoonotic diseases or invasive plants or heavy metals or the penetration, ever more penetration of money, we're all part of a common system, and indigenous peoples want to change, recognize change, but they want to do it on their own terms. And we know that diversity can be retained so long as it can work on its own terms and maintain that complexity. So we've been supporting that process of adaptive co-evolutionary change between biological and cultural diversity.